Greetings all. Did you know that, you've got this beautiful gift of Reiki that you can supercharge your manifestations? That's right. Got your Reiki gift and all those beautiful manifestations? We can certainly make it that much more refined and more kind of like intense, want of a better word, and bring those beautiful blessings into your life. Being attuned to Reiki is a blessing in itself. You've manifested something wonderful right there. You took the action, you put that request to the universe, and you indoctrinated yourself into that beautiful energy. Or perhaps you're watching this and thinking, I'd like to be indoctrinated into that energy. That is a step on that road to manifestation. It comes to us to make it happen. So who am I? You may be asking. My name's Gary. Um, my background is a sort of Reiki master teacher. I've been doing this for a few years now. And I also do readings and more energy work besides. And it certainly helps when you bring things into being. Make it your intent. Work with that Reiki energy and it definitely makes a difference. So what we're going to cover in this video, it's all about just going over some sort of like basic sort of like elements that we can bring in and a few little techniques. Nice and simple. Nothing too extravagant. Try and make these fairly brief for you, and it just gives you something to think about. So when we come to sort of like, preparing for a Reiki manifestation or, manifestations, we've kind of got a bit of a weird feeling to that, and it's like we're going to summon something. It's not like that at all. We're just bringing some beautiful energy into our lives. And there's two ways of going with this. There's two schools of thought. And I'm going to say to you, you pick the one that's relevant for you. There's one school of thought which thinks you've got to actually put every detail, every tiny detail in the minuarte of sort of like saying, I've got this, let's imagine a car, it's a silver car, it's a Porsche, it goes from 0 to 60 in like, 3.1 seconds. Um, it's gonna be really comfortable to drive. The seats are all leather. It's got a sort of like a turquoise dashboard, for example, and you can keep going and going and going, really into the final details. Or you could be a little bit more vague or a little bit more open, which is my preferred option. Now, some will disagree. I'm just going my own personal preference, which I would literally just say, if I was into that space, I would say, can you please bring me the most perfect, beautiful car that I would need in my life right now? And for me, I'm asking the universe then to really kind of like work with me a little bit, as opposed to being right dogmatic and saying point A, as opposed to method B, which I've just explained there. So my personal preference is to go for point B, but the great thing with all these techniques, we can experiment and play around. And so I encourage you to go what your heart tells you, what one feels for you, follow that path. Um, Now, as well, there's a little important thing I want to say as well. It's just aligning yourself with that kind of like energy, putting it out there. Um, so I think it helps if you're in a good place and you kind of bring a little bit of excitement. So I'll show you, for example, um, let's imagine I want an exciting book to read. Make it a little bit more plain. We don't have to go for the big and bold, but something quite simple. And you could go like, oh, fancy a book to read. It's all the energy of a flat glass of lemonade, hasn't it? There's no ziz. As opposed to going, I'd love to be able to bring a brilliant book into my life that I can read. And that, again, is aligning yourself with that energy. Remember, we would connect with the Reiki, of course. So we're bringing that energy in there to kind of like just give you that little bit of a push. And you're in the right space. So your energy is right. You're in a right happy state of being. And we kind of like give ourselves a nice extra boost to that energetic request. You can create a sacred space, of course. You can put candles round, you can put incense round, you can go smudging if you want, you can sing in bowls, nice music in the background, whatever you feel is right. Conversely, if you just want to sit down and just manifest away to your heart's content without anything of that, that's perfectly fine. Ultimately, what makes you feel good, what feels good for you. I'm not one to say you must do X, Y, Z. No, it's perfectly okay just to sit there and think like, I'm in a space I'm ready to manifest. That's good enough for me. Why shouldn't it be? But of course, you can enhance the mood with a few well-placed candles, some incense, or whatever feels right for you. That's what I would say there. Now, this is really for those who are into Reiki and level two. Um, so this is where we could use symbols if we wanted to. You could go the master symbols as well, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going to keep it nice and simple. So if I wanted to use sort of like, say, the chakra ray energy, maybe that's a nice, like, more physical energy, for example. So that might be want to give myself a nice, if I'm about to go for a workout for something like that, I could manifest, I could put a little request in for the best workout possible at the gym tonight. So I can literally just use the chakra ray energy, chakra ray, chakra ray, chakra ray, just imagine that golden energy coming in and just say to myself, I'd love to be manifesting that beautiful energy for a nice workout tonight. It doesn't have to be a workout, of course it can. It can be many, many things. It could be a beautiful meal. Could I have a chakra race so that I can have a meal to remember? You know, you can do that kind of energy if you want to. Conversely, you can do Seiheki. You could use the Seiheki energy. So just visualize that energy coming in, Seiheki, Seiheki, Seiheki. And maybe just think to yourself, I just want a beautiful evening tonight. Beautiful, wonderful evening with some wonderful company. I want to find a nice peaceful energy, for example. It's another simple manifest. Now you notice here I've just used rather simple manifestations. I've not gone for anything grand, but of course you can go grander if you wanted to. For example, you could put the Seiheki on a nice holiday if you wanted to. Shokare on that car. Whatever comes to your thoughts. It's just generating yourself that nice space to put that energy out there. So as I say, just experiment. Obviously, if you're level one, this probably won't mean much to you. Don't worry too much about that. It certainly work with just putting those thoughts out there. And of course, those who are not attuned to Reiki, you can still put those thoughts out there. Positive, golden, energetic thoughts to manifest some beautiful things in your life. So it's a little routine that you can use. That always you can always change this around. I'm always changing it around. I'm just going to give you some ideas right here, right now that you don't have to follow. So first thing you want to do when you're manifesting is just ground yourself for a moment. Just take a few deep breaths and go, just say to yourself, I'm ready to do some manifestations. Ask for some beautiful things into my life. Of course, we can activate the Reiki, whatever works for you. You can put your hands up to the sky. I prefer, as I call it, the chalice, which is the feminine way of doing things, which is like on the hands like that. You can, of course, put your hands up like that. You want to just visualize the energy coming in. You put your hands in your lap if you want to. You can put your hands in a prayer position. I think people get a little bit too hooked up on, oh, how do I connect to Reiki? Look, you're connected, okay? And it's intent is everything. Always remember that. So for me, I would just put your hands on your heart, visualize this beautiful gold or white light coming into your heart right there, and then just get into that space ready to kind of like send on to the next request. Now's the point. If you wanted to, you can bring in those symbols. You can draw them or use your intent, whatever is right for you. So just imagine you're putting those energies out there right now, and then send energy to whatever those thoughts are that you've manifested. Of course, it's probably wise to write down those thoughts before you begin, but we're just going to use one for a nice simple one. And you say, I wish to manifest love in my life. And love, of course, has got so many permutations. It could be to your nearest and dearest, you know, your partner. It could just be a love of life. You know, it's like a beautiful energy to send. So it's a good all-rounder you can put out there. And Just visualize that energy going out there. Just visualize what it's going to do for you, what your dream result is, and just feel the gratitude. Feel the gratitude of sending that energy out there and feel the gratitude coming back. You know, like the number 8 symbol, it goes out and it comes back at you. That's the whole point. I never like the term give to receive, but we are giving that energy with no expectation of receiving. But what you're doing is you do that, it's a natural order. It will come back to you because it's just natural. It starts getting complicated when we put that expectation, those demands. I demand you do this for me. Yeah, that's where where the juddering comes in, as I call it. If we just give our request and forget about it, just put that out there and just have a big, nice smile on your face as well. That will help you. And when we finish, we can just seal it with a nice little boost of Reiki. Just you can put a symbol down if you want. What really wanted to. I don't personally do that, but you could do. My personal way is just say thank you for putting that order out to where it is needed. Okay, so different tricks we can enhance that experience if we wanted to take it a stage further. Um, you could use Reiki on a vision board. Say you got a vision board, and you can get creative with this. You can put little pictures of the things you desire or that you're asking to come into your life, the blessings. You could put Reiki on each one. You know, maybe hover your hands as you work through that practice. Just kind of like building the energy. This is what it's like. It's like a nice little, like a nice upward spiral of energy as you're putting those thoughts out there. If you're, I mean, I'm no artist, so you might want to prefer what I probably mean my preferred method. I was going to do that. Just a nice journal. Just write those thoughts in a journal. Maybe just a simple book. So let's imagine we've got a book here. See, I've got like, I know it says a diary, but see, I've got a little symbol there that I've engraved. Put that in there. Imagine that's your journal and just visualize it. That Reiki going into all those different requests. You know, and the beautiful thing is, again, do it with no expectation. Just put it out there. Say, I'll send my order out to where it's needed. Now trust in the process and let things just come to fruition. Um, you could maybe do affirmations, you know, and you could sort of like say something like, I'm now sending this energy out there with the best possible intention for myself and all those around me. And you could repeat that maybe 3 or 4 times if you wanted to. A mantra, you could say something like, I am blessed by this beautiful process. I am blessed by this beautiful process. I am blessed by this beautiful process. For example, you know, so there's little tricks that you can do. And again, I encourage you all to embrace your creative spark, really put that into the sort of like flow and build and build and build that energy. Enjoy it. Enjoy the process. It doesn't have to be sort of like all ritualistic saying, I must do this. Feels right, do it. If you don't feel right, don't do it. Simple as. Okay. So, and of course, the beautiful thing is, many of you who will be at level 2 will know the distant healing symbol, which isn't just about sending it to people in the present. You can, of course, send that energy into the future, the past, and into the here and now. And this is the rub. For some people, they will say, what, you can't say this, Gary? Guys, if you're attuned to Reiki, you can do distant healing into the future as well. You don't necessarily have to know the distant healing symbol. The distant healing symbol helps step into that energy. Of course it does. But ultimately, you're sending energy. You're a conduit. You just send the energy to the future, the past, or wherever you want to. It's just that the distant healing symbol makes it a little bit more seamless. That's how I see that. Some people will disagree with me. That's perfectly your right. But the way I've been taught, and I proved it before I was a level 2, I was sending distant healing in the future and in the past. Why shouldn't it work? It just does, trust me. So imagine you've got your little goals that you've set yourself. Just imagine that Reiki energy being sent to the future Send it out there. Beautiful intention. Allow that order to marinate and let it go. That's it. Simple. And that's what I love about Reiki. It should be simple. It doesn't need to be complicated. Okay. And once you've done that, just look for those little signs. Once you've done it, just forget it. It's gone. Look for those little synchronicities that come in it. So, for example, you might have asked for more money. I'm only doing this because it's easy. I'm not necessarily say manifestate, sort of like manifestation of the materialistic, but you might have asked for more money, and it might come in little signs. You might find little coins that I found a 20p behind the sofa, for example, and it might build up. You might scratch it. I've won £1 on a little ticket. Or you get a sudden what a prize that's coming through the post. Little surprises. This is how that comes. And when those things come to you, this is important. What we forget. Just say a little blessing. Say, "Oh, thank you so much for you've heard my request. I see the signs. I recognise it." Because then he's recognising it. Shall we send him a little bit more? A little bit more. A little bit more. And it's being aware of that and those little synchronicities, those little numbers. We often get 111, 222. Pay attention to them. If you're not sure what they mean when they come in, do what we'll do. Check it out. We've got the internet now. You can look up those numbers and what it means, or you can trust your intuition. Go with that way as well. So trust that. Um, and this is an important one. Watch our emotions. Our emotions. The best things happen to us is when we can get ourselves in the highest emotional vibrational state. And now I'm not going to lie to you and say, yippee, I'm in Reiki land. It's always going to be marvelous and magical. Nothing's going to upset me. Got news for you. Life will come along and challenge you and it will knock you off your perch. So we got to make sure if we do get knocked off our perch, we can try and get ourselves up again, and no matter where we are, whether life is brilliant, we stay at the top of that energy, where that's going. If life's a real challenge, we still try to get the top of that particular energy. And this is how we'll probably find in reality, we're kind of probably bobbling along in the middle there somewhere. But wherever you are, you want to try and get up as high as you can in that energetic flow. It's so easy for us to go like that, isn't it? Down to the bottom. And then there's just literally no zip, no zap. So if we could try and watch our emotional shifts and try to get ourselves up there as much as we can, we give ourselves the best chance. And it gets into your mindset as well. It's like I like to think of the best one is don't think, oh, maybe I can do that. Sort of say, I will do that. Huge difference. So like, you put those requests out there, it will happen, and then trust. It will happen for me. Big smile on your face. Your energy's good. We put it out there. Simple as. Okay. And watch out for those unexpected opportunities. This is why I love the more vague request as opposed to the real specific one. Because then you give the universe a chance to surprise you. And it will come in the nicest way. So, for example, you might have asked for, oh, I'd love some money to come my way. You might not get money, for example, but someone might, a neighbour might come along one day and say, oh, I don't need this particular whatever it is anymore. Is this any good for you? And suddenly you might have inherited a kettle. It doesn't have to be expensive and expansive. It could be what you need. Maybe that kettle is far more important to you than a nice jewellery box, for example, that may be worth a lot more. Sometimes we get what we need as opposed to what we want. And I think that's important when we put our request in. Give what you require. That is really the gift for me, because then you get the things that help you develop. And so this is where we come to a close now. It's like just giving that call to action. Take the time to do it. And I do encourage you all just to give it a go. Try it out and get into the practice of doing it. It doesn't have to, you don't have to make this a ritual, remember. Don't make it a chore. Make it fun, make it enjoyable, and maybe you don't have to do this every day. Maybe every week or every couple of weeks, just say to yourself, I'm going to watch old Gary's video there, or some of what he's done, because the last couple of videos I've done, I'll kind of give you a little sort of like intro on how to do it, and you can just do that yourself. Or you can just have your own little routine where you're just going to think like, I'm going to try this out and see how it goes. Share your experiences with me. Share either what if you come back in a couple of weeks' time after trying this, let me know what you've manifested because that in itself is building the energy. Or maybe you could let me know what you've manifested in the past. I'd love to hear that. And of course, you might have some techniques that you think, well, Gary hasn't actually done this actually. Can I just say, Gary, why don't you try that? Share. I am not the font of all knowledge. Shock horror. I have my knowledge, what I'm sharing with you, but I am the first to admit I would love to be taught by you guys. Because I know there's a lot of knowledge out there. Some of the comments I've seen when people do comment, I'm thinking, oh wow, that's really helpful. And not only do you share it with me, you share it with everybody else who may be watching. Who knows how many people are going to watch this? I might get 5 people watching it. I could end up with 15,000. You just can't tell it. So imagine if maybe one of those 5,000 people, whatever, were going through and seeing your wisdom. Isn't that cool? Wouldn't that be wonderful to share that? And so please do share your encouragements, your tips, the benefits. Okay, so here we go. We come to the end now. All I would ask you to do, if you found this useful, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and, sort of like watch out for my content that's coming up because I'm making this a nice regular thing. All that remains for me to say is thank you so much for being here. I wish you all the very best. Much love to you all. Spiritual Cockney out.